Okay, students. So it is very clear to you the definition of the DNA. DNA is a polymer of deoxyribonucleotides. So it is made up of number of nucleotides. DNA, it is made up of number of nucleotides, which are the repeated units of the nucleotide. So here some of the data given in the NCERT reader also, that is every living organism characters or depends on the DNA, and in turn the DNA length is depends upon the number of nucleotides. So here some of the examples I wrote here. So the very first example here, that is the bacteriophage 174. So this organism consists of the length of the DNA, that is consists of 5386 nucleotides. So don't get confused here. Either you can call them nucleotides or base pair. So in the next class it will be more clear. I will explain you the more clearly what is the difference between nucleotides and base pair. Okay. So now 5386, these are the total number of nucleotides present in the bacteriophage 5174. The next example, that is the length of the DNA. In the example bacteriophage lambda. So this organism consists of, that is 48,502 base pair. So these are the total number of nucleotides or nitrogen base pairs present in the DNA. So that determines the length of the DNA. Okay, the next, coming to the length of the DNA of a human genome. So here genome refers to what? Genome refers to the total number of genes present in a haploid set of chromosome is called as genome. Then human genome consists of how many number of nucleotides? So here the human genome, that is haploid set of chromosome, the haploid set of chromosome composed of 3.3 into 10 to the power of 9 base pairs. So these are the total number of nucleotides present in the human DNA, that is a human genome. This is a haploid set. But what will be the number of nucleotide in the diploid set? That is 6.6. 6.6 into 10 to the power of 9 base pair. So this is the length of the DNA of diploid set in the human. I mean totally approximately the length of the DNA, it measures about 2.2 meter long. Now let us move towards the components of the DNA. Okay. So as I told, we have completed all aspects. DNA, what is DNA? What are nucleic acids? Where they are present? The historical aspect, everything we have discussed. So let us proceed towards the components of the DNA. Means DNA chemically, when we analyze the structure of the DNA, it is composed of what? So there are three important components found in the DNA. Okay. So the very first component of the DNA, that is pentose sugar. So DNA, if you take the structure of the DNA, it is composed of number of nucleotides, and in turn the number of nucleotides are composed of three different types of basic components. They are namely pentose sugar. Here pentose refers to what? Pentose means 5 carbon compound. Pentose sugar is a 5 carbon compound. So later we will come to know the structure of the pentose sugar. Next, nitrogen base. DNA chemically it is also composed of the nitrogen base. Again, what type of nitrogen bases are found? There are two types of nitrogen bases are present. They are namely purines and pyrimidines. You are familiar with these terms because you already learnt in the biomolecule chapter in the first year. Okay, so nitrogen base, there are two types, purines as well as pyrimidine. Now last component is phosphate. So phosphate is a phosphoric acid. So H3PO4, the phosphoric acid is also one of the component of the DNA. This is the component which is responsible for the acidic property of the nucleic acid. Suppose phosphate is not there in the DNA means it does not give the acidic property of the DNA. So the acidic nature of the DNA is the presence of because of the presence of phosphate group itself. Okay students, so we have learned all the aspects of the components of the DNA today. In the forthcoming classes, we will be learning about the structural aspect of the nucleic acids. That is, what is the structural formula and molecular formula of the that is pentose sugar as well as nitrogen base and phosphoric acid. So the structural aspect we shall discuss in the next forthcoming classes. Now we will stop here. Thank you.